Hello everyone, I'm Helder from Natural Training Center. What I wanted to do today is go over basically a restoration or a yoga sequence that I utilize and we utilize at Natural Training Center with myself and my clients, especially for those of us that are into cycling. Once again, restoration is restoration, so we can use this for other modalities besides cycling. But there are a few key points that I'm addressing in this sequence so that we can go ahead and maximize our restoration specifically for cyclists. Whether we are on road bikes, whether we are on mountain bikes, we're constantly causing all of this tension, over gripping on the handlebars, rounding our backs, very tight glutes from being in the same position all the time. So what we want to try to do is alleviate that tension, restore our bodies so that we're good to go at a later date. Whether it's applying it towards a trek that you have coming up the next day or a nice ride that you have coming up the next day, or if it's just being able to interact with your family or being able to go to work. A lot of us are weekend warriors. So we get out there, we give it all we got, we come back on Sunday and can barely walk. Monday, we start work and we're in all sorts of trouble, right? All this tightness and whatever. So if we're trying to do some good and enjoy our lives, don't we want to maximize it and get the most out of it? So what I'm trying to do here with this yoga sequence, and yoga has that tendency for a lot of people that it's a foreign word to them. So the way that we approach it is a little bit differently too. We want to ease people into these baby steps so that they could feel what yoga can do for them. Then they can get into it a little bit more spiritually and things like that. So our approach is a little different because of the baby steps. We don't want people to hear certain words and have this stigma with the words, and then all of a sudden they don't even want to approach it. So it's a big deal, and that's why we approach it this way, because we feel that it's very important and we want to share it with everybody. So let's get started. Basically what I like to do is give everybody a checklist so that we don't have to keep saying the same commands over and over. And also once you learn this specific movement or pose, it'll be easier for you to deploy it instead of sitting over there and going through all these checkpoints in your head. You know that you could address it all just in one quick shot. So let's go ahead. Basically the pose is called reset pose, and there's three key things that I want you to take out of this pose. First thing being the shoulders packed, okay? We want the shoulders integrated. We don't want them out here. We don't want them up towards your neck, because then you're kind of detaching them from the body. And we want the body to move as one, so we want to keep it our shoulders packed. So how do we do that? We basically roll. If we just do this simple shoulder movement, just rolling our shoulders, we're bringing them up to our ears, then back, and then down. This down movement means that your shoulders are packed. They're integrated now with your core. So your core is utilizing it, keeping everything in. So first point of the reset pose is your shoulder pack. Second point, core activation. Core activation, core is pretty much everything besides your limbs, okay? So let's think about you're driving your car and there's a big truck coming at you head on. What do? You end up really tensing up, right? Really integrating everything, you know, that fight or flight response. So that's what we're looking for when we want to activate that core, that full activation of the core. I'm braced, I'm ready to go. That's point number two. Point number three is our alignment. We always want to be nice and tall. Imagine this, those ropes that they use in the shipyards that are very thick, let's say 2 inches thick or above. That's pulling you by your crown from the sky, or if you're indoors, from your ceiling. So you're really nice and tall from the top of your head to your tailbone. So it's not out here, it's really up and back. You're getting pulled, let's say like a marionette doll. So those are your 3 points. Shoulders roll back and down, core activation, and your spinal alignment. So even if we're in some kind of pose like this, you're still thinking reset pose. You're still thinking proper alignment. Nice and tall from the top of your head to your tailbone. Nothing changes. No rounding the back or arching the back, anything like that. So that's basically your reset pose, those 3 points. So anytime we say reset pose, reflect back to these points and you're good to go. You'll be ready to execute the next movements properly. All right, so let's keep that in mind. So now let's go into the first exercise, let's say, or pose in this yoga sequence, which is called the standing mountain, okay? And remember, these poses all have different names depending on the teachers and everything like that, but for the purposes, I'm going to utilize the names that I was taught, okay? So let's keep that in mind, okay? This is health and fitness, okay? It's not so much worried about what organization you belong to, okay? So that's, we'll save that for another tutorial in another video. So what are we doing here? We're going into our standing mountain. So let's remember our reset pose, because it pretty much stems off of that. So we're bringing our feet together, a little bend in the knees, just a little bit, thinking about our reset pose now, right? So core is activated, nice and tall, shoulders rolled back and down. The only difference here now is the palms face forward. And what we are thinking here is as we inhale through our nose, we're getting taller, getting pulled by that rope by our crown. As we exhale, we want to think about exhaling our feet from our midfoot and our fingertips to and through the ground. So as I inhale, I'm getting taller. As I exhale, my energy is going, or thinking of going to and through the floor. So there's always a push and a pull. There's not this little bounce or this little accordion action happening. Once you reach that top movement, you stay there. And then basically you're thinking mentally of getting taller and just moving that extra little millimeter to get taller, that extra little millimeter on the way down on the exhale to get longer. And that's what we're looking for. So what we want to think about here is holding it for a 7 count. And a count would be 1 inhale through the nose, 1 exhale through the mouth would equal 1 count. If you start out with 1 count and that's all you could hold, especially on certain poses that might get a little bit tougher, then that's fine. And let's say you want to work your way up to 7 or even more. So now on your last exhale, let's say this was your 7th count, we're going to exhale and slowly bend the knees, roll the shoulders forward, and just shake it out a little bit. Okay, so that would be the first movement that you would do, or your first pose that you would do would be the standing mountain. Next pose that we're going for is, once again, remembering your reset pose, okay? So we get into our reset pose to begin with. 3 checkpoints: core, shoulders, alignment. Now what we're gonna do is just get our legs a little wider than shoulder width apart, okay? Our hands still remaining with our shoulders packed. They're not up here, okay? They're still integrated with the core and packed down. We're reaching out towards the side, palms facing towards the ground, fingers are spread apart. And what we're gonna do here is we're going to sit back with the hips. Okay, so we're not coming forward with the shins and with the knees, we are actually going to sit back. If you're flexible, you can go ahead and get a good long alignment. If your maximum range is right here, there is nothing wrong with that. What we wanna do is stop that pressure from pushing forward. We really wanna sit back with the hips, thinking of an imaginary stool or one of those big Swiss balls that we see at the gym, and we're trying to sit back and sit on it, okay? So let's think about starting that from the beginning. We got our reset pose. Shoulders, feet shoulder width apart, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Hands and fingertips are reaching out towards your side, thinking about touching whatever is at your side. Still integrating with your core. We're going to sit back. And now what we're thinking is, as I inhale, I'm still getting pulled from my crown, getting taller, so that movement's going forward. But at the same time, my shins and my glutes are pulling me back, so there's always this push and this pull that's gonna go ahead and give us the alignment that we're looking for and the restoration that we're looking for. So as I inhale, I'm getting taller. As I exhale, I'm exhaling my fingertips out towards the side, thinking of touching whatever is to my sides. Once again, 1 inhale, 1 exhale is 1 count. We want to try to aim for 7 counts, okay? So holding this for 7 counts. If you can only do 1 and you need to come back out of it and then get back down, that's fine. We build ourselves up with baby steps. So now what you're gonna do is, let's say we got to the 7th count, what we're gonna do on our exhale is slowly just rotate our necks to the left. We'll hold that for a count, so it's 1 inhale. On the exhale, we'll exhale back down the center. We'll repeat on the other side. Inhale, exhale to the side. Inhale, and exhale back. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our hands in front of us, almost like we're flying through the air like Superman. So what we're thinking is bringing them back, exhaling out, reaching out for whatever's in front of us. Once again, the shoulders stay nice and wide. There's no scrunching, taking our shoulders out of alignment and taking them out of shoulder pack. We'll stay here. Once again, looking for that 7 count. Core is activated, shoulders are activated, knees are not coming forward, we are sitting back. Once again, if you need to keep coming out of this pose until you could get to 7, there is nothing wrong with that. Now on the last breath, what we're gonna do is tighten our glutes to protect the lower back, and we're gonna stand up with an exhale. So squeeze in the glutes, exhaling, exhaling, exhale. I'm bringing my hands behind me. Palms are facing backwards. Okay, so I'm nice and tall, once again, almost in the pseudo reset pose that we have again, except now as I inhale, I'm getting taller, still getting pulled by my crown. As I exhale, I'm exhaling my fingertips towards my heels. Glutes are activated, core is activated, everything is working. Inhale and exhale, there's a push and pull everywhere. Once again, we will hold this for a 7 count. Now on your last exhale, we're gonna slowly bend the knees, roll the shoulders forward, and we'll go ahead and shake that out. So now what we're gonna do is actually bring it to the ground for the next pose in our sequence. And a lot of you have ever seen this or actually are familiar with it, which is called an upward dog facing position. We're gonna tweak it a little bit, but we'll go ahead and start out with the standard upward facing dog or up dog, whatever you would wanna call it. So we wanna think about getting in a push-up position. So you could pretty much just get down to the ground. Your feet can either be on the back of your toes or you can be on the balls of your feet, whatever is more comfortable for you. So we're thinking about getting in this push-up position. I wanna think about my elbows being tight, up against my ribs so that they're tracking my ribs. They're not all out here. Once again, we're thinking about our reset pose and our shoulder pack. And what we're gonna do here on our exhale is just basically lift up. Everything is activated, our glutes are activated, core is activated. So we're just trying to get the pelvis off the ground, still maintaining contact with the back of the feet to the ground. As I exhale, I'm gonna push up, inhale, exhale up. Just bringing everything up off the ground. Our chest is up towards the sky. So we're thinking about bringing our chest up towards the sky, still keeping our chin down. As we inhale, we're getting taller with our chest going up towards the sky. As we exhale, we're tightening the glutes and bringing our glutes and our pelvis down, getting that good stretch. Wherever there's a push, there's a pull. Once again, we want to hold this for a 7 count. Now what I want to do is, those of you that can do it, we want to switch it up. Since we get all of that tension in our forearms, we need to release that, because a lot of times we're walking around and it feels like we have hooks because of all this tension that we build grabbing onto those handlebars. So what I like to do on the upward facing dog is reverse it so that we get that good release in the forearm, in the bicep, in the wrists, okay? So very similar to what we were just doing, except we're going to reverse it, okay? So now the wrists are facing forward, the elbow pits are facing forward, wrists are facing forward, shoulder width apart, and once again, we can get right back into our upward facing dog position, still holding for a 7 count. Nothing much changes besides your hand position. Inhale the chest up, squeeze the glutes, exhale the pelvis down, really getting that good stretch in your lower back, getting the good release on the forearms, and then slowly we can go ahead and bring our knees back down to the ground. Slowly, just go through the digits and the segments in your fingers, slowly releasing them up, rotating them a little bit, working out all of that tension, okay? If for some reason you can't do it from the upward facing dog position, you can also sit in the pseudo tabletop position, same thing, and just kind of work it from here, little by little, just bringing them down, working on those digits slowly. It's all about baby steps. The closer you are to your knees, the easier it becomes. The further that you go away from your knees, the more difficult it becomes. Keep in mind that we want to maintain our alignment. You don't want to fix something at the expense of something else, okay? And you see that happening a lot. So you'll have good form in one thing, go to the other thing, and you might be working on your wrist, but now you're taking your back out of whack. So let's keep that in mind and let's work smart. So we're gonna finish up what we actually call a Shinbox position, which I really enjoy this because it releases the hips very, very well, okay? So very simple, we bring the feet in front of us, still maintaining our alignment, reset pose, everything is still there. Core is activated, shoulders are rolled back and down, and I'm still nice and tall. Feet are in front of me. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my right leg and just kind of bring it down to the ground, take my left leg and kind of swing it behind me. And what we did here is just basically build a box. You're gonna notice you're gonna be more flexible on one side than you are on the other. Every day, we're gonna be at different levels of flexibility and mobility, depending on what we were doing, how much time we spent sitting, how we slept the night before, what our nutrition is. All of this stuff comes into the calculation. There's not just a one size fits all. So you really gotta pay attention, and that's where other things like food journaling and logging and stuff like that comes in, but we'll save that for a later tutorial. So right now, we're still maintaining our reset pose, okay? Shins are forward. What we're thinking here, once we actually become activated, because right now we're just sitting here. We're not really in a yoga pose, we're just sitting. Once we bring in that activation, that's when we start getting into the alignment that we're looking for. So we got our reset pose going, still inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. That equals 1 count. What we're thinking here is, as I inhale, once again, getting taller, okay? As I exhale, I want to think almost of, which is kind of impossible, but almost dislocating this thigh, okay, because it's coming forward, allowing my hips to sink, getting that good stretch. So the movement is, as I inhale, I'm getting taller. As I exhale, in this position, the backward leg, the actual leg is pulling forward, getting me down into a more of a seated position, trying to get as flush as possible to the ground. So I would inhale up, exhale down and out. Inhale up, exhale down and out. Inhale tall, exhale the leg out. Inhale tall, exhale the leg out. So you figure after 7 counts now, we want to go ahead and just repeat that on the other side. So we can go ahead, exhale, bringing our legs forward again. We can even shake them out a little bit. Now take the left leg, bring it down in front of you, right leg spins behind. Once again, still thinking the same thing, maintaining your reset pose. As I inhale, I'm getting taller. As I exhale, I'm shooting now my right leg out to the side, seating the hips more level onto the ground. And with each time, just think about almost like shaving off layers of butter from a stick of butter. Just very, very thin, thin, thin layers. Every time that you're going into your count and getting a little bit deeper, you're shaving off another layer of that tension. So finally that you're getting to that point where you're aligning everything and balancing everything. So once again, inhaling up, exhaling the leg out. Inhale up, nice tall spine, chest is up to the sky, core is activated, shoulders are packed and down. Inhale up, exhale the thigh out. Inhale up, exhale the thigh out. Inhale up, and on your next exhale, you can go ahead and just sink down into it a little bit. Go ahead and just create a little bit of a movement and bring your right leg forward, and we're good to go. So you go ahead and stand up from here, and that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. This is something, like I said, it's great for cyclists. You can use this for anything. But more importantly, the attention, especially the little nuances that we added in here, are really targeted areas that I know that I always have, our clients always have. We work with professional cyclists. We work with grandmothers that are into cycling. So you kind of see everything that there is from one end of the spectrum to the other, and then we try to fill in the gaps because there is no one size fits all. And at the same time, let's keep this real, let's keep this important. We all can benefit from yoga. And it's very important to set yourself aside from what you think yoga really is. This has been going on for thousands of years. It's not a fad that most people think that it is. Go ahead, feel it. You owe it to yourself to at least give it a shot. Those of you that are pros, those of you that want to have specific goals, we're always looking for that edge. Here's the edge that you might have been neglecting the whole time. It's very difficult to build a Ferrari and put this incredible engine in it and the most beautiful paint job and all this other stuff to soup it up and the best computer systems and everything like that. And then what ends up happening is maybe you neglect the tires and now they're not inflated the way they should be. They're not aligned the way that they should be. You just spent all this money building this beautiful car and you neglected the basics as far as restoration and regular maintenance. It's a far off correlation, but hopefully you get what I'm talking about. Once again, I'm Helder, Natural Training Center. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed. Get out there, enjoy nature, align yourself. We only have one body, make it last. Thank you.
Your right arm, and you really pull it away from each other. Then you crouch and you pull your elbow, and you need to